So before we get started with today's video, I do just want to acknowledge the fact that I have not uploaded a video here on my YouTube channel in probably about 8 months by the time I'm actually uploading this video. And that is for a lot of reasons. Nothing too serious, I can assure you. I've been doing very well this whole time, but there are other things that have made me not really want to upload on my YouTube channel. The main thing being, which many of you probably know, is just that I've been way too busy with the work that I do for Soltech, the grow light company. It's been over 2 years now that I've been working for them, and it does take up a lot of my time, and unfortunately it has shifted to be like my priority, my focus, which obviously I feel some type of way about and trying to work on, but that is a main reason why I haven't really uploaded here on my YouTube channel. Beyond that, I've been experiencing the content creator's biggest inner saboteur, which is, it's imposter syndrome. It's been something I've been struggling with for, since I started here on YouTube 8 years ago, almost at this point, but lately it's been just hitting me really, really hard. It's so many things. It's just sitting and talking to a camera alone in my apartment. It's kind of strange. Maybe some of you feel me on that. It's maybe the obvious fact that a lot of my audience, my subscribers, have picked up and moved on from their indoor gardening hobby. My channel is something that grew a lot during the pandemic when plants were really popular. Not that plants aren't popular anymore, but they're not nearly as popular as they used to be. I think we can all agree on that. And we've seen so many, like every time I go on Soltech's Instagram, I see another small business, small owned plant store that is shutting down. It's not just the plant stores that are feeling the effect, it's also the creators. So it's a very real thing going on in our community right now. I know a lot of people have been talking about it over the last year or two. And I don't know, it feels odd. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but when I post a video and I have X amount of subscribers and only a very small fraction are actually here watching. And I need to appreciate those of you who are still here with me. I feel like I'm looking more at like the larger part of my audience that isn't here anymore, but I need to be, well, I am, but I need to realize how grateful I am for those of you who are still here with me. So I'm not about to just pack up and move on myself. My channel is very important to me. It's been a very big part of my life and my identity, I would say, for the last nearly 8 years. So this is not something I'm willing to just give up on. I do also want to point out how I did take a mild break in compared to the one I've been taking for the last couple of months, probably about a year ago. And then I got back into filming for a couple of months, and that just didn't satiate me in the way that I thought it would. I've been doing a lot of scripted content for Soltech. That's like all we do, and I got pretty comfortable with that, and I thought, why not try it out here on my YouTube channel? And that was a mistake on my part. At least I feel that way. It didn't feel like as genuinely me. I was having a lot of fun making the content. It just didn't feel as genuine as I wanted it to, and I just want to ditch the scripts here on my YouTube channel. Anything I'm doing sorry, Muffin's like about to mess with the tripod, so the camera moves at all. Just understand that. Well, now she's back up here. Muffin's been doing very well this whole time too, I should point out. But yeah, I'm ditching the scripts here on my YouTube channel. I'm just here to just be myself and do my thing and just have fun with it in a different way than before. But yeah, I'm figuring out a happy medium for me to post here on my YouTube channel again and be able to do my work for Soltech. I think a great way for me to do that is just to do like everyday videos about things that I'm doing around the house. I'm surrounded by hundreds of houseplants. I'm obviously doing a lot of like plant chores and plant maintenance and plant activities all the time. So I figured at least, maybe not weekly, but like every now and again, I can do videos like that to check in with you and just show you what's going on here in my life. Because like I said, I'm not willing to just pack up and leave. I'm coming back. I'm not coming back in full capacity. I can't promise you weekly videos, but I can promise you content. I think that's a very good compromise for the time being. So I'm not going to waste any more time talking about my absence. I would like to move on to other plant activities. I have a lot of plant activities that I actually really need to do today before I switch gears and get back into the work that I have to do for the other company. So I want to show you what I have going on over here actually. I recently upgraded this little like gallery wall situation that I have going on above my desk. It was just like a couple of things and it looked really sparse. I filled it in a little bit more. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but I'm working on it. None of us are perfect, so why would my gallery wall be perfect? Let's come to terms with that, okay? I really like how I used this crate right here. This is just like a crate from IKEA that I stained a couple years ago, and I literally just have it like resting on nails, and it's sturdy enough. It's not in a high traffic area, so I'm not gonna like bump it or anything. And then this is, oh, I actually have another one right here. That is a Booker's bourbon or whiskey, it's basically the same thing, box that I flipped over and just using as like a shelf situation, which I think is fun for like storing knickknacks. It kind of plays similar to like when people use like those like apothecary drawers or whatever they're called, like on their wall. Not nearly the same, but just like a similar vibe to that, just so I can store like little knickknacks. And I have a little light plant on it, my Peperomia hoffmanii, which looks great. This is a philodendron micans inside here. Some little art pieces. I have this little wall pocket that has a little air plant in it that is kind of dying, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But you might also notice that there is a dead fern on the wall, so I gotta do something about that. And I also have this little dried flower display situation. That's from IKEA actually, and I would just put like fresh flowers in there and then press them, and then they would look fine for like a couple of months, but then now it's just like brown and gross. So I gotta do something about that as well. I got from the store just like a week or two ago this elephant fern, it was called. I'm pretty sure this is a platycerium. And I'm a really big fan of my staghorn fern. I really want to get more into platyceriums. There's so many cool varieties. They're pretty expensive, but now that I've grown my one staghorn fern, I'm actually gonna go grab it real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Now that I've successfully grown this staghorn fern for like 4 or 5 years now, I feel confident enough to try some more out there varieties. This is just like the standard one. I actually don't even really know what this was because a friend of mine found this in the garbage pile on the side of the street, and then I mounted it and now it's exploded into this. So a good reason to rescue plants is right here in front of you. But yeah, I have the elephant fern, so we're gonna mount that in just a moment. We're gonna put it on this piece of wood here, which is honestly not the best piece of wood for mounting, but it fits into my gallery wall display, and I'm not gonna find a perfect piece of wood like this that's going to fit us perfectly, so I'm just gonna work with this. We're gonna work with what we got for right now. I have gotten more plants than just this elephant fern over the last couple of months, so after we mount this fern, we will sit down or stand up, I don't know where we'll be, and do a little plant haul situation of some of the plants that I have gotten over my absence. Just going to remove this fern. I don't even know what kind of fern this was. I'm pretty sure it was like some kind of asplenium. It looked hardy at the time and it lasted a decent amount of time, but I'll just get to a place with my mounted ferns where they just are on the downswing and I will just let them go. And staghorns are so much more hardy than that. And even though this doesn't look like a typical staghorn, I'm pretty sure, like I said, that this is a platycerium. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's like a platycerium elephantosis or toad. I don't know. I have lost my touch. That's another reason why I'm feeling imposter syndrome these days. It's because I used to be so on top of like what was popular and what was new on the market back when I used to be a buyer, and I do not have that kind of knowledge anymore. And in my brain, it's like, that's why people like to watch me, but my plant care knowledge hasn't decreased whatsoever. It's only grown. So I need to remember that. I'm not a one-trick pony over here. This piece of wood is a piece of crap. I should be using something else. This is like just what I have and what fits the aesthetic. Like the wood is coming off. I'm gonna have to like hammer this back on. My goal is that this is the last time I'm actually using this piece of wood to mount something. But I got this from like the Walmart craft section literally 8 or 9 years ago, and it's held up pretty damn well for a mounted plant situation, for that not being what it's sold to be. Remove these nails, they are old and rusty. I usually use 6 nails when I'm mounting plants as like something for the fishing line to grab onto. I'm gonna try using 4 today, especially because this fern's a little bit bigger. I'm gonna increase the size of the circumference of how I'm mounting this. Okay, so I have made this a little bit bigger, as you can see, maybe with 4 nails. What do I have? Oh, I have to grab the fishing line, but I literally just have some fishing line as well as some sphagnum moss. and our fern, and besides the nails and the board, that's like literally all we need. Just going to remove the plant from the pot and also get rid of as much soil as we deem necessary, which is gonna be a lot of it. Now this fern, you know, it's got these two big leaves. It's gonna look kind of wonky maybe at first. I'm just gonna trust the process. I was thinking about removing them, but I'm like, no, because this one's like attached to like what looks like to be the shield frond or something. I really am not familiar with this type of platycerium, but from what I gather, these fronds right here, I know we're a little bit far away from the camera, but these fronds right here look like they're the new fronds, so these should be facing upwards, so they should be at the top of the mount. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's gonna be too late by then. I guess I could just flip it upside down, if that is the case. This does have a decent root system for a fern. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I really just want to get rid of as much of that soil as possible just because it's going to take up room on my board here. I'm going to take some sphagnum moss and start laying it inside the perimeter of where we are going to be planting this guy or mounting this. If you're using like a different board, like the one that I had my staghorn fern on, the other one I showed you earlier, you can just wrap the fishing line all the way around the board. You don't actually have to do these nails. It does make it look a little bit cleaner in certain situations. So just do whatever you see fit, really. This is the top. Maybe I should flip it around. No, because, sorry for that sound. These leaves are so big, I kind of want you to be able to see the newer fronds, perhaps. I think it doesn't really matter, actually, but let's place this guy inside its nest and then start covering up that root ball, that root mass, the soil that's visible with this sphagnum moss. This sphagnum moss I bought is not the best quality. I just needed it in the meantime and it was the only thing I could find. Maybe choose better sphagnum moss for your mounting. I'm actually going to, I have right here some leftover sheet moss from a project I was doing recently that you are going to see very shortly here on my channel. Wink. Don't know why I always feel the need to say wink after I wink, but I have this sheet moss. I think there's plenty left of this to cover up the sphagnum moss. This is really just for visual aesthetic. It's not something that is required when you are mounting your plants. It does look a little bit nicer when it's the green moss visible rather than the brown sphagnum moss, especially since I'm using this lower quality sphagnum moss. I think it'll just make everything look a little bit better. So I didn't really mean to film this as like a tutorial. I kind of just meant to do it like I'm just doing it and bringing you along with me. If you do want an actual tutorial on how to do this, I'm pretty sure I do have one that I filmed a while back, but I think it's still fine and correct. But I'm just gonna take this fishing line and just wrap it all the way around. So here is our mounted fern. Like I said, none of the moss should be falling free now. I'm sure there could be like a couple of pieces that are just like loose and whatnot, but you know what I mean. The bulk of it is going to be in place. I love the way it looks with the green moss. I think it makes it look so much better on this piece of crap board. To water this, I'm just gonna throw it in the shower or in the sink and water it. I know that some platyceriums are pretty sensitive when it comes to like hard water and stuff. I don't know that this one is. I feel like that's more collector varieties. Correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, I'd love to know. I'm just gonna use regular water for this, and especially since it has more moss than the last ferns I've been putting on this board, it should stay moist for longer. That's why I think I have some better luck with my other staghorn fern, because it's a lot more moss, so it does take like 4 or 5 days for it to completely dry out. So it buys me a little bit more time than the past ferns have. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this grows. It looks a little silly right now. I mean, it doesn't look silly. It looks pretty cool, actually. I'm just excited for the new leaves to start growing up here and to see how it looks from there. Just want to do a quick plant haul of some of the plants that I've gotten over my absence here on YouTube. Nothing too extraordinary, I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, but obviously just have to point out the elephant fern real quick. I found this at Stump, which is a plant store chain that is in Philadelphia as well as a couple other cities. Yeah, I just really liked the fern. I thought it would look really amazing up on my wall. Ooh, this one is dripping. Good thing the pot is right down there. So this is a fiddly fig, obviously. I got this from Ott's Exotic Plants, which is one of the best places to go plant shopping in the Philadelphia suburbs. It's about an hour outside of Philadelphia. Highly recommend checking it out if you do live in this area or anywhere nearby. It's clearly a place that has been run by like a family for a really, really long time. They have one of the widest varieties of plants that you're gonna find in the area. Not to mention they just have a lot of retail space, so they have a lot of room to store these plants. So you're gonna spend a long time there, I can guarantee that. But they had this fiddly fig that has grown a little bit. I did get this probably like 4 months ago, if I'm being honest, but it's pretty big for being in a 6-inch pot. That's one thing I do notice about Ott's plants is they are pretty big for the planters that they are in, and they are a really good price. Maybe it's because some of them sit in the store for a little while and they're such amazing conditions that they grow so well, or maybe they just received them that big to start out with. I don't know, but every time I go, there is just a couple of plants that are really hard to pass up on because they're just so big for the size. And I honestly got this at first for just like content for Soltech, but now I just kind of love it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna successfully care for a fiddly fig. It's really healthy. It's got a bunch of little things at the base. It's gonna look like not like a tree, but like a more tree-like situation in a pretty short amount of time because of how much it's already grown and how big it was to begin with. So yeah, I'm just really excited about this. It's been hanging on throughout the winter. Winter is almost over, so I feel pretty good that this thing is going to last a lot longer. And I don't know, this is like the fiddly fig that I feel like I'm gonna have for a long time. Quote me on that. I also got, once again, not really that groundbreaking, but this pothos. It's this pearls and jade. It says enjoy on the tag. I know sometimes they're enjoy, sometimes they're pearls and jade. I really don't know the difference. I guess maybe this is a pearls and jade because it has, maybe I do know the difference. I feel like it's the little like splotchy, like marble queeny variegation. I think the Enjoy is like perfectly just creamy, like some of the leaves are. I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I've been really just feeling reliable houseplants lately, which, you know, I did buy the fiddly fig, so maybe that's kind of speaking against that. But this is a plant that I just can trust is going to live even when I have it high up on a shelf, which is where I have this. I know I have some time to water it after it dries out, and if I take too long, it's going to wilt, and I'm gonna see it up on the shelf, and I'm just gonna pull it down and water it. It's gonna perk right back up to the way it's looking now. And yeah, I'm feeling pothos lately. I feel like there was a point in time like 2 years ago where I accidentally gave all my pothos away because I thought I had so many of them. So now I've been like accumulating them and then just propagating them and just growing my ever-growing pothos collection just to jungle out my home and fill in the gaps for the plants that don't grow well, the ones that aren't reliable, and pass on the ones I put out to pasture so I can trust this guy for a good amount of time at least. I also got this Alocasia Mellow. Now, I didn't like buy this. I didn't seek this out. I got this we had to do like a collaboration with the Sill for Soltech. So they had to send me a couple plants and planters just for me to get like content with. So this was one of the plants. This is the only one I actually kept. I didn't really like the other plants they sent me. I'm not really sure if I really like this one, if I'm being honest, but I don't know. I just wanted to hold on to it. It's an Alocasia. I'm not really fond of them. Their behavior, I like the way that they look. Alocasia are beautiful houseplants. I think we can all agree on that, but they do not, what the hell is that? They do not grow very well for me, so I'm not really a big fan of them in that aspect. But this one had like those like thick reptilian leaves, like the Alocasia Silver Dragon, which that one kind of, I mean, it's not really doing that well, but it held on for a long time. So I was like, why not just hold on to this one? Some of its leaves are kind of ugly. I was thinking about cutting these two off. It's probably a smart thing to do because then the plant will be healthier and grow back, and we're going into the springtime. So maybe this plant's actually gonna grow, but if this doesn't do well, I'm not too upset. But it did just put off this leaf right here. Not that one, this one. I was trying to get this one out of the way. But this one looks nice and healthy. And then like this was a new leaf too on this like baby plant. So I don't know. I'm not giving up on this plant yet, but I don't have high hopes for it. And then there's two other plants that I got. This one might not look that healthy right now. So this is a Cissus rhombifolia, or the oak leaf variety, the oak leaf ivy. And yeah, it's a little like sparse at the bottom, but I'm gonna be honest, it was like super healthy when I got this. Is from Lynn Villa Orchards, by the way, another amazing place to go plant shopping in the Philadelphia suburbs. Also one of my favorite places. I would highly recommend checking them out. I really like their selection. I really like the way they merchandise too. So I'm a big fan. Anyway, this was super healthy when I got it. It was only $10 and I put it up above my kitchen cabinets and I was doing well for a while, but then it just like got harshly underwatered, totally my fault, and it was basically dead and I was about to throw it out, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to try to keep this plant alive because how many cissus have I thrown out after forgetting to water them? All of them, except for this one now. So I kept watering it and it came back to life and it's starting to grow and I'm feeling good about it. It's not growing amazingly, but it looks perfectly healthy and I hung it up in my window and all the plants in the window are pretty much like succulent plants. So this leafy plant really just stands out amongst the rest. So I'm just really happy with it. And I've grown this successfully before for a period of time. And I know that it'll like grab on to like the macrame hanger and stuff. So I'm just waiting for it to do that. And I think it'll look really good down the line. But yeah, I'm just happy that I'm just happy it's alive. I'm happy it looks like this. I'm happy it's alive. And I know in due time, it's going to grow even more. I don't even think this last plant is going to fit on screen where I have this here. It's not. So this is my Norfolk Island pine. I also got this from Linvilla Orchards. Obviously you can't see the bulk of it. It does need a little bit of a trim. Actually, I think after this plant haul, we're gonna do some pruning because I do have some pruning that I need to do. But I got this from Linvilla Orchards. It was 50% off on sale. It was $60 down to $30 and I thought it looked great. They did not want to sell it to me. They thought it was like dying on death's door now, but I saw a lot of life on this plant. And so I was persistent and I brought it home and I'm very happy I did because it looks amazing. I've heard these plants are not the easiest ones to grow, but I've had this one since I would say probably like August or September and I'm filming this in February. So it's been a decent amount of time. It's lasted the full winter. You know, sometimes the like, I don't know what to call these, like the fronds, the branches, they will like randomly wilt. Like I have one that you probably can't really see that's like starting to wilt right here and another one. I'll show you when I'm pruning the plant, don't worry. I'll get you a better view of this plant. But I just love the look of this plant. I love the aesthetic. It's totally different than most of the other plants that I have in my home, but it brings exactly the vibe I'm looking for. It's very boho. It's very like, even though it's a tropical plant, it just gives you like that Pacific Northwest kind of vibe with just like the foliage. So I'm just totally here for it. And it's just a plant I didn't really know I even needed until I saw it. I was looking for a floor plant to go underneath one of the Soltech lights that I have for some content and found this and I moved it elsewhere because I wanted it front and center here in my home because I just think it's so gorgeous. So yeah, let's prune this guy and I have a couple other things I want to prune. This thing I need to prune just because there's like some like dying growth on it, but there's some other plants that I want to prune for aesthetic reasons, so let's move on to that. For this tree, there's just like, ow, God, it's sharp. It's related to a monkey puzzle tree, which is like also very sharp, so maybe I should be like wearing gloves. But it's not as sharp as a cactus, but it's damn near close. So this just has like some fronds that have just kind of like turned brown or like died off over time near the base of the plant. So I just need to remove those. But yeah, there's like two little trees. There's one right here, and then there's like three larger appendages that I'm like a little bit more invested in. So part of me is like, maybe I should just remove the smaller ones, but it is making it look like a fuller plant right now. So I'm like, let's hold off on that right now. This frond, calling them fronds, it's probably not the right term. The branch is just not looking that great. But now I think, honestly, that's all I really had to do to make this plant look that much better. Wow, okay. $30 for this. We would have never put that on sale that much at the plant store I used to work on. I mean, I would have liked to, but the people who I worked for wouldn't have allowed that. It looks so healthy. I still can't believe that I got that good of a deal on this houseplant. But that was quick. Let's move on to the other ones. I have these two Ripsalis plants that I've been growing for a while. I actually forget the name of this one. I know this one's like an African country. I'll put both of the names on screen so you can see. But I'm not obsessed with the way that they look. I like this one. I like this little thing that's got going off there, but I hate this right here. So I'm gonna cut this back and I'm gonna feel so much better about that. Oh my God. Okay, that's literally all I had to do this one. That's literally all I had to do. I could like stick this back in the soil if I want to, It might rot, it might not, but yeah, I don't even know if I want that. You know what? It's fine. I'm just gonna let it be. This one, so that was so easy. I had this one underneath a grow light, just like a crappy one from Amazon, and it like burned some of the the platyclades, whatever we call them. So I just want to cut some of these back. I'm just like not obsessed with the way that it looks. I kind of want it to be like more just focused on these like dangly ones. Yeah. In fact, I feel like I even just want to get rid of this. Muffin is plain with little pieces. Yeah, that's like honestly so much more the vibe. Even this guy. And these will all regrow where I cut them. But oh gosh, that's just so much more the vibe of a Rips house. I'm not really obsessed with the green on green in this situation. I think green on green works, just not here. But I do feel a lot better about that, where it actually looks like a trailing houseplant now and just doesn't have like all these pieces just like sticking upright. Once again, I could like shove a couple of these in to fill it out. Not really, I think with Rips house, it's less important to let them like callus over when you're propagating. I'm just like sticking them in the soil. But I don't even know if I want that. I think I'm just gonna get rid of these pieces. They're mostly burnt anyway. And like I said, it's just gonna regrow where I cut it. So it's really not that big of a deal. Oh gosh, these look so much better already. I literally feel so much better. Put these back up on the shelf right behind me here. I need to reorganize this shelf. I'm not really that happy with it. I mean, I like some of it. I think the books look cute and stuff, but it's a lot of plants. I could use like a little less plants on the shelf, believe it or not. But in the meantime, let's just continue making the plants on the shelf look a little bit better. So this is a Hoya pubicalyx. I recently potted 2 of them up together in the same planter just because I have so many of them and I don't really need that many. I like Hoya pubicalyx. I'm not obsessed with it, so I don't need 6 of them around my home. There's just a lot of like unsightly appendages on this. And listen, I'm aware that like new growth would technically grow from these. I don't care. There's enough growth on this plant. There's enough mealybug on this plant too for me to, you know, it's fine if it needs to take, it can take a little break, you know what I mean? So I'm just cutting these where I see fit. Like I said, don't care that there's new growth that will come out of these because they just don't look good. And what's the point if the plant doesn't look good? I kind of want to do this with more of my Hoyas. I might leave this one, even though it's, you know what? It's literally covered in mealybug. I don't even care. There's some ones at the front. Ooh. I don't even, probably can't even see the vines down there. But yeah, there's just like little pieces at the end of the vines that are just dried up. It's just not giving the way I would like it to. But I feel better about this already. See, it's, oh my God, it's so quick. It takes 5 seconds to just prune off the growth that you don't really care about. And it just looks that much better as a whole. I do really need to spray this thing down with some insecticidal soap. It's pretty covered in mealybugs, so I think I'm gonna do that. I would take you with me and show you, but my bathroom fan is ridiculously loud, so yeah. Is there anything else I wanna prune? Actually, yeah, I know there is, I just don't know off the top of my head. There is one more plant I know I've been wanting to prune pretty aggressively, so I guess we can go ahead and do that one too before we wrap up today's video. I am probably gonna have to readjust the camera for this one. So this is my Philodendron squamiferum. This one has been appearing a lot more on the market lately, so I've heard. I actually haven't really seen it myself, but I know people have been finding it in like big box stores, and it's just, oh, I love this plant so much. It's just become so unruly. Since we're going to the spring season, I'm like, just cut the whole thing back. Propagate what you want, cut the whole thing back, and let it regrow. I've done that with a couple of my philodendrons recently, and I feel so much better about it. Once you have them for a couple years, if you don't grow them up a moss pole, which isn't really my thing anymore, they just become such a mess. And in some cases, it's just not that aesthetically pleasing. So I'm literally gonna just, I mean, I hope you can forgive me, but it just cut it all the way back to the base, no holds barred. Just remove it all. It will all regrow in due time. I just have this mess of plant right here. Oh, there is like a little baby plant actually. So we get to keep some foliage. Oh, hurrah. But yeah, there's the one baby plant, 1, 2, 3 other plants in here that are going to regrow. Spring is right around the corner, so it's not going to take very long for this to happen. Remove some of this dead growth that has just worked its way down to the surface of the soil. But yeah, does it make it look that much more aesthetically pleasing? No, not at the moment, not like the other ones. It's not that instant gratification. We do have to wait a couple of months, but I feel better about this. I feel better about the space this is gonna take up. You try styling that plant the way it was. You cannot. And some of this growth, I'm not even really like obsessed with. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna find some pieces to propagate, but like this new growth right here, like if I was to propagate this, it's just not giving. It's not giving. So sorry, but I don't know, like this is less offensive to me. I mean, it's not great, but if I like cut this piece off right here, we got this little 3-piece cutting or 3-leaf cutting, put it in there for now. And this one's not very offensive either. I mean, it's not great. Yeah, so we got that. And if there was 3 plants, there's probably 3 pieces that we can take. I'm not like obsessed with these like floppy bits. But here we go, 2 more cuttings. Let's remove this top a little bit. 2 more cuttings. Make that 3. I mean, even possibly 4. There's more to take. Like I said, I'm not like obsessed with the way that parts of these plants are looking. I don't want that. I don't want that. It's okay to throw out your plants, by the way. If they stress you out, get rid of them. I made a post on Soltech like a year and a half ago about how it's okay to throw out your plants if you don't like them. Our audience did not like that. I did have to take the post down because people were not happy. Yet I will see creators post the same thing that are not a company, and people will be like, oh my god, I do that. But yeah, I'm gonna throw all of this in the trash since I'm a creator and not a company. But yeah, I can put these in some water. It's stuck in my thing now, but yeah, these can just go in like a jar of water. They will probably take like a month or 2 to root up. Some of them might not even root up. It's not that big of a deal because we have like 5 cuttings to work with. And then we got this plant that will continue to grow. It's got like a new leaf coming in right now. Gotta clean out these dusty ass leaves. But then these should regrow some new growth in due time. So eventually we will have like a nice full pot of philodendron squamiferae, just not at the moment. But give it like 2-3 months and we're gonna have some really good progress. I think that's where I'm going to wrap up today's video. I wanted to repot some plants. I've done enough. There's plenty more videos I'm gonna be making so we can repot some plants. Maybe next time, maybe the time after that. I think I kinda I'm gonna go plant shopping in a couple of days. So I was thinking about taking you guys along with me there. And then I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I have been filming content over the last 8 months or so, just not a lot of it, and some of it I just haven't been like happy with. There are like a couple of finished videos that I have that I think I'm actually going to finally release to the public. So just explaining if there's any videos that seem like they were filmed a while ago, if the seasons are different, or if I look mildly different, just explaining that. But I think you're gonna see some of that in the upcoming weeks. And yeah, I'm excited to be filming content again. It feels right, it feels good, it feels correct. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me throughout the break. Thank you for checking in on me. If you're one of the people who reached out to me personally or commented on the videos I make for Soltech or reached out to Soltech, I do appreciate you looking out for me. Like I said, I've been doing very well. Muffin, come here and say goodbye. Here is my Muffin. She just wanted to say goodbye as well, and thank you for sticking with us. And we will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.